Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Douglas Hartman with Airbrush Artistry, and this is kind of like a test video. I'm using a Casso Brave 7 LE that I purchased a while back off Amazon, and I've never actually used it to shoot any videos with. And so I got it at on 4K with 30 frames per second, and it's like I said, it's a little test video, and I've got it hooked up to my new camera holder on my easel, and so hopefully you guys can see this all right and hear me all right. So we're going from there. But I'll have to review it. But anyway, this is the image for my next video. It's a demon skull, and you can barely see, I still see some of the outlines. What I do is I do a 1-inch grid, and I'll lightly put that in there with H pencil, and that way when I draw the image on there I can get everything symmetrical and where it's supposed to be, because there's nothing worse than getting along into a drawing or a painting and you step back and look at it and you realize, you know, it's not correct, it's off, the symmetry's off on it, you know. It's better to to do it right the first time before you start, and so that's how I do it. I start all my paintings or whatever is I'll lay down a grid and do a light sketch of what I'm doing and go from there. But yeah, so it's a demon skull. We got the curved horns, got big gnarly teeth. We got some, I want to add something different, so I had some bone spikes coming out of his cheekbones and stuff. Again, I was going to do a comparison between, the last painting I did with the goblin portrait. I used my Drew Blair Takumi with the 0.18 millimeter needle and nozzle set up. It has the Drew Blair soft spring in the air valve mechanism and the Drew Blair short trigger. And I was going to do this painting with one of my H&S Evolutions with a 0.15 millimeter needle and nozzle setup. And so I got that thing all hooked up, ready to go. And so going from the Iwata Takumi to the and it's like I don't have the new Evolution. Okay, I don't have the 2024 H&S Evolution. I've got the older ones that have issues with trigger response, and I even did like little trigger response hack on them. Put the little washers in there, and I can't do it. Going the Takumi to me it was just flawless, and even with the trigger hack in the H&S Evolutions that I have, the trigger response is still not there, and it drove me crazy just trying to do some line work, and you're pulling back on a trigger and the quality is just it's not the same. Trigger response to me is when you pull back on the trigger for paint, I want it to be there when I'm pulling back the trigger, not a little bit later. And so it was kind of driving me crazy. And so what I decided to do instead is, and because this is a test video, to see how this little whiz-bang camera works, and see if it's the same quality imagery as my phone camera. I guess I'll find out. But anyway, I have two Iwata HP pluses. I've got the C that has the 0.3 millimeter needle and nozzle set up with the bigger paint cup, and I also have this guy here, the HP B, HP plus B plus, blah 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 blah. It's got the 0.2 millimeter needle and nozzle set up, and obviously you can tell smaller paint cup. The only difference, besides the needle size, the paint cup size, is this one. Obviously because the bigger paint cup is going to weigh just a little bit more. But anyway, I'm going to do this painting with the HPB Plus, with the Iwata. Again, this will be the first time me using this airbrush on this painting, and it is just it's silky smooth. The trigger response, is on point. And I hate. I think I'm turning into a Iwata fanboy. I love the H&S, but the other ones I have, though, with the trigger response, is just no comparison to these Iwatas. And I know that I would probably end up throwing that thing across the room. I would get so frustrated with it. And it frustrated me before I had any of the Iwata brushes that I have now. I just had, the H&S Evolution. And, you're trying to, get an itty bitty, some detail going on, and you're pulling back on the trigger, and there's nothing, and then all of a sudden, bam, you've got paint. It can be very frustrating. Now, I know that they solved that issue with the new one, but I'm not gonna, I don't need to buy the new one when I've already got the Takumi and these two guys. This is like the Iwata trifecta. I don't need another one, And so I am going to complete this painting just using the HPB Plus. And so I'm not going to do a comparison between the Evolution and my Takumi, because to me there is no comparison. It's just that the Drew Blair Takumi is just too good of an airbrush to compare it to anything else, if you ask me personally. And it is. That's just my personal opinion. And, nobody's paying me to say that. It's just how I personally feel. And so, anyway, this is just going to be a short little video, just to test, to see how this thing does. And, hopefully it works better out, because, obviously I can film for a longer period of time on this little action cam guy, and without having anything to use my phone to do any editing and stuff like that. I got all the, I use CapCut for my editing software when I do edit, sometimes I'll do shorter videos, and sometimes I'll do longer videos. It's just raw and unedited, and I like those better. It's easier for me. Anyway, hopefully sometime this week I'll get started on this the skull, and we'll go from there. All right. Thank you, guys.